Good evening and welcome back to the LR Esports Network for round 12 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Trucks E-Series. Kansas is the destination here tonight, and we welcome all the viewers on the YouTube and Facebook platforms, live again on the Skypoynt ovals of Facebook and YouTube. Peter Brett and Jai Schultz once again in commentary tonight. Kansas, 1.5 mile. We continue the trend. Maxed out field here tonight as well, 43 drivers. Jai, I wonder if there was any big names left out.
Yeah, it's definitely good to be here at Kansas, and yeah, maxing out the server, 43 drivers, and they all jumped in pretty quickly as well. So definitely where they want to be this Tuesday night. And Kansas, another 1.5 miles, but a little bit different with progressive banking here at Kansas as well, Pete.
Yeah, the progressive banking, it can catch you out as the guys enter into their qualifying session. The track sort of facts and stuff for tonight. 17 to 20 degree progressive banking. I didn't add that in there, but it is progressive banking. 1.5 miles as already mentioned, and it's classified as a tri-oval, Jai. I suppose that's just the shaping as you go over the start-finish line, but it's a little bit different, isn't it? Those this tri-oval to others.
Yeah, it's a little bit different as you can see on the screen here. These trucks can actually use the apron on the tri-oval as well. So the tri-oval being the nice smooth curvature on the front straight instead of the two pointed kind of points on the front straight away that make the quarter oval in a few tracks that we go to. But yeah, definitely a tri-oval and one where you can see some passes hopefully being made on that apron down the bottom.
Got a bit of a croaky, Jai. The audio, I'm not too sure if that's my end or his end. Gives a shout out if it's coming through and how the audio is. But yeah, definitely a tri-oval. Darren McKenzie is a bit of a dark horse in this series. We know he can steer one of these trucks, especially Jai. He's sitting at the top at the moment in qualifying with a 30-40. He's got plenty of good company around him. Douglas and Gosley also share that same time, so that's what it's going to be like out here tonight, isn't it? With return of a few good faces as well. Raymond Yeager, Pinnacle, they're going to be up there tonight, and yeah, plenty of faces that are here every week as well. Tom Pritchard moves up to 7th with that time, 30:53, but it's a long race. It's going to be a race of tyres, isn't it, Jai?
Yeah, definitely the tyre wear here at Kansas can be a bit rough on these drivers, but Skypoynt leads have been quite good together in the 4 sets in total. So they're starting set and the throw over the wall. So they only have to really make on average about 30 laps on the tyres, and that will be quite safe for the majority of the race.
Michael Skurlock, so in the 350 machine. Aiden has a new number. Probably haven't ticked that box, so we'll have a look through. 350 for Skurlock. Where's that put him in the list? 30.51, so almost close to his number. Aiden Shields is showing his number 1 in the server here, so not too sure what it's going to look like on screen, but we'll get on the top of that if we have made an error. Apologies to the rest of the drivers. Nigel Patton, also part of the Pinnacle. He finds himself a little bit down the field in 27th position, and he pulls over Jai. So you can might as well say the times are pretty much done and run rather.
Yeah, as on week in, week out, these drivers only get 2 laps as per real life NASCAR to set their time. So they leave pit road, have that lap to kind of get up to speed, and then 2 quick laps to set their time. So very close again this week as the top 33 drivers setting a time are separated by 0.8 of a second, so super close over the top 33.
Yeah, that's what's going to make this race, I think, the closeness of racing as we move into different phases of the race. I think it's about 120 odd laps, I think, Jai, with this race. I think you did tell me before we went on air, but, well, it's pretty much my form, isn't it, forgetting all the time. But 120 odd laps, I think, is that round about the ballpark?
Yeah, tonight here at Kansas, it's 120 laps, 300 miles, so quite a long and lengthy race, but a lot of time to kind of make up positions and a lot of time to lose it and make a mistake as well.
What we worked out also, Jibe, as we get ready to start our formation lap, is that the tyre and fuel strategy, or stint rather, sort of lines up at around about 30 laps. So that's, with 3 over the wall, it sort of links up, doesn't it? So 4 sets, you got to pit 3 times, and that's about your window. So if we stay green, watch for green pit stops. But I think somehow full field here at Kansas, quite a tricky track, or can be. I think we're going to be in for a little bit of carnage, and we all love carnage. Darren McKenzie, what a time. Southern Stars Esports puts it on pole position. We'll have the front row with Dave Douglas, Trent Gosley and Luke Trahere. They'll have second row. Jason Holdsworth, Nitro Racing, and Raymond Yeager will have the third, side by side. Cade Donnelly and Skurlock will have the fourth. Aidan Chills, Southern Stars, in the ninth position. He'll start alongside Craig Roffey. Good showing for the Roffies again. Kim Roffey, another Roffey, will start just down the alongside Tom Pritchard, 11th and 12th position. Go over the page, 43 trucks here tonight. Good showing. Tori Davison and Dwayne Priest will have the 7th. Barber and Finlay, the 8th. Roffey and Denny Vassell back there. He'll start on the outside of the 9th row. Kobe Jordan, Noddy Tompkins, Troy Mortensen, a new teammate of yours, happened in the last week there, Jai. He'll start alongside Maxi Marshall on the 11th row. Gary Wellman and Alex Smith will be your 12th and 23rd and 24th position. We go over once more. Good thing about rolling starts, have a look at them trucks in the background, all lined up, waiting patiently. Darren Johnston and Williams will have the 13th. Nigel Patton and McAvoy, Tyson McAvoy, when he's got time, he joins us here. Good to see him on the track as they move off. Greg Spencer, Colin Bruns, Nigel Seidel and Sean Rigby. Blackburn Jones, Luke Kenny, welcome back. Ruben Phelps will start out of 36th position. Love the big fields. 37th, Anderson, Tristan Koch, Luke Crum, Henry Fenson, Brett Campbell, Chris Tomlin, Reese May. 43 drivers, Max Field, as I mentioned, Jai. So look out for a little bit of elbows out, a little bit of defensive driving earlier, and hopefully we get through clean. Let's see some green racing here. It's been a little bit stop-start of late. Kansas, well, tricky track, Jai, but you can go 2x2, can't you?
Yeah, it's definitely enough room to go 2 wide or even 3 wide here at Kansas, but the preferred line early on is going to be this bottom line, so we're going to see who can really get down there early and make up a few spots, and then around 10 to 15 laps into these stints they're going to want to start drifting up the track and really get close to that wall. So we'll have to see how this start goes, and as we head to the Geico start zone to start the race here tonight at Kansas.
Darren McKenzie leads us to green. We're off and racing round 12 with the Skypoynt NASCAR Trucks E-Series. 2x2, that was the word. Little bit of side draft. Darren McKenzie, good start. 10, Dave Douglas drops in behind. 2x2, they all start going around quite nicely. And nice clean start, 43 drivers. Max Field here tonight. Darren McKenzie, Southern Stars, leads us around. How good is this? Big field, massive field of NASCAR trucks. At the moment, McKenzie, Douglas, Trahay, Yeager, Gosley is your 5. A little bit of 3 wide action earlier on. Nice start.
Yeah, it was definitely a good jump by Darren, and we're already seeing a few of these trucks exploring that apron as well. So as long as they got enough room to get back up on the track, you'll see a lot of drivers trying to get a run down that front straight away.
Side by side. Side draft will come into play as well. I think a little bit happening there between the 43 and the 4 machine. Gosley, 43, I think the numbers might be a little bit out. Might have a number ticked that shouldn't be ticked, but try and be calling accurate. But exactly what we could see there was a little bit of a battle. the brains, I think, of NASCAR trucks. I think that's accurate. Jai just sitting back a little bit as he goes down the inside. Jaeger wants to go with him now. So these two here race around a lot of each other, and definitely know how to find themselves in packed fields like this as we get built up in the mid-pack here.
Yeah, Skirley's definitely got a good race car, so he's definitely put that to show this season. Looking quite strong in the championship as he just rounds up that 43 display truck, which is ultra hair. So on the timing board, he's number 80, but obviously the paint he normally runs and the number that he normally runs would be the 43. So just letting Skirley go past and maybe work together and try to make their way back up to Dave Douglas, currently running in P2, and the three of them really get hooked up together and really make a charge to the front and try and take something to D-Mac out front.
We have a look on the 30 machine, Craig Roffey looking over to Cade Donnelly, one of the Sim Boys entries, car 41. Side by side, it doesn't look that it matters if I can see any fast lane or slow lane at the minute, but ultimately draft is key. Probably not as a important factor as Super Speedway shy, but side by side close early.
Yeah, the draft here is just behind a couple of trucks. It's around about a tenth of a second and up towards the 2/10 of a second in the big pack. But while these tyres are fresh, that low line is keeping its own and really being competitive. But as the tyres start to go away from these drivers here tonight, you're really going to want to go to that second line around the track, and that's about the lowest you'd want to go. And then just start making your way up the track as it rubs in and get some really pace and try and use those runs coming off the top of the turns down the straights as well to make a few positions. But definitely clean racing so far, and it's looking good for a lot of these drivers here tonight. There's been a few little movers and shakers as we just go 3 wide off the turn 4 there, but it really hindered that truck on its pace down the front straight.
Yes, Gerlock there just pulls out of that. He probably had a little bit of a clench moment as these trucks start to move forward. That's the number 1 of Aiden Shaw's. We got a spinner. That's Cade Donnelly, I do believe. Oh, big hit, one of the Roffies. There. We go under yellow, under caution, first caution of the night. Jai lap 8 of 20. That was boiling, and that was started to build up a little bit before it happened.
Yeah, it was definitely an incident in the making there, and a few trucks starting to move around. But especially with these trucks using that low line and the lesser banking, as we are progressive banking, it's going to burn up those tyres a little bit quicker. So not sure exactly what happened there with the caution, but it may have just been a case of the tyres starting to not feel as new as they first was.
Let's go back, have a look at a Skypoint replay. We'll go high in the air, I think, to probably get a little bit of light on that. Oh, look at this. I think that's 41 come up on the 11 of Holdsworth, and then, oh, there's that Roffey car pretty much wheeling over the line, but Jason Holdsworth involved in that one, and quite a number of drivers. Raymond Jaeger, he's in pits. Roffey's in pits as well. Not the way we want to start, but I think this track, once they learn what we can do and learn what they need to do to get long green runs, I think we'll see it. Darren McKenzie still holds track position at the minute, out in front. What would you do now, Jai, if you're out in front in the 0-2? Jump in, or hold track position? Lap 10 of 120, still quite a big race to go.
Being in D-Mac's position up front here, I'll probably stay out, only being 10 laps in at the moment. It's a little bit too early to run that split strategy and really hope for the whole thing to run green, especially with the average tyre, the average lap amount that you want to be on the same tyres and the fuel being very, very close. You kind of want to keep that track position, especially with the jumbling up a bit further down the field. So probably definitely keeping track position, but if you're up the back, maybe just try and do something a little bit different to help you maybe in the ending part of this one.
We jump back into the stands. Awesome fan cam here. Busy pit road as they pile off. So you can watch the pace truck lead the field around at the minute. Unfortunate for some of them drivers. Let's see if they can recover. Long race, 120 laps, as we said a couple of times already. They can get back from it at the minute. 0-2 Darren McKenzie. We've got a little bit of support. Mad Dog Racing, DD for the win. That's referencing Dave Douglas in the 10 machine. Leading this championship, I do believe as well. Giles, I can get that up just quickly. Dave Douglas, 11:42, plays Sir Michael Skurlock, so BMX Bandits leading that. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail, but Douglas, DD, support in the comments at the moment, leading the championship. You'll have the low line when we go green here. Jai, where would you rather start, mate? Where's the line off a restart?
It's really track dependent, so for these guys that stayed out on the used tyres, probably the high line. So I believe Dave Douglas is going to be starting on the outside pole, and I'm not 100% sure if Luke Traher, currently in 4th position, is part of the BMX Bandits, but if he isn't, he's definitely an ally to Dave Douglas, so he'll be looking to give Dave a good push on this restart on that outside line and really try and maybe try and clear DMAC off a 2 on the restart lap.
Well, let's see what they can do off this restart. Hopefully we get some a little bit like what we had off the when the race went green, as we start to form up now as Dave Douglas will start on the outside front row. Geico restart zone in play as well, and I think because it is relatively new, we're starting to get used to it. In the last couple of rounds I've noticed, Joy, and I think what we're seeing is probably restarts around about that mid to end of the Geico restart sometimes, and I haven't really seen a lot of the times, but sometimes right at the start, and they don't leave them any time, and they just go. But I think tonight's going to be probably somewhere around about the average, the middle to end, and well, that's going to be up to Darren McKenzie, lap 12 or 120 first caution. Probably a little bit bigger than what we first expected. I think one of the Roffies, I'm not too sure, haven't had a look through yet, Jai. He was pretty much 90 degree to the track, facing upwards. Pace truck peels off. Has a little bit trouble getting off that apron as well. Let's see where McKenzie will go in the Geico restart zone around about that middle and leaves them napping. Gets a good jump of Dave Douglas. Trent Gosley left there as well. Luke Traher was a good jump, and have a look at that Skypoynt number 6 going around the outside there. But all in all, so far, good jump off the restart.
Yeah, definitely good jump. Kind of kept them guessing a little bit there, DMAC, and really got out to a good jump over Dave Douglas. And Trent Gosley moving up into the P2 position as well, so he got a good restart out of 3rd. Kind of went with Darren the best of anybody in that front row, and really taking the chase up the front to DMAC on this restart.
Let's have a look at this field. Come down around. Darren McKenzie leads a little bit sideways, or really having to trust the guys next to you. 3 wide in the mid-pack.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting just then to see them come through turns 1 and 2. Darren really used the bottom of the racetrack right on that white line, and he gained about 400 of a second in doing so, but the run that Gosley got off the top side of the racetrack, he managed to get about 800s to 900s back down the straightaway. So that high line definitely creating the run down the back straight off turn 2.
That's going to be the optimal line as well. Once you start to get a little bit of tyre degradation, so if you can get it working now when the tyres are good, it's going to be good for longevity in the race. The mid-pack, Tom Pritchard in heat of a battle. Troy Davison behind him. Luke Traher in front of him. Good little battle. I think that's Aidan Schulz up ahead, just dropping below the white line. It's a good bunch of cars here, keeping it nice and clean. Philip Bronze, Andy Barber, and Craig Roffey. Raymond Yeager's in this battle as well. The Triple One moves around a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit loose off that turn, but manages to keep it straight and keeps on. But look how many different ones these drivers are. Still run too wide the whole way around this racetrack as well. Even using the apron, looking to go a bit 3 wide is the Pinnacle driver. I believe that was Raymond Yeager. So definitely really good to see, and the different lines creating some awesome racing here at Kansas.
Yeah, Raymond Yeager down the inside, uses a little bit of the apron, gets around Andy Barber, gets around Craig Roffey, still holds the inside. So I thought there might have been a little bit of contact there, but still holding it side by side. He's going to get checked up by, I think that's Dwayne Priest in front of him, takes the apron again. Jumps out of that draft too, which is surprising. Joe can get caught out if you get out of that draft, but as I said, it's important. Well, there's probably one key to stay in the draft, but not it's not the end of the world, because he dropped out of the draft and he's to be side by side now. He wants this position from the 900 truck.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit odd to see in the general speaking terms kind of thing, as you really want to be following that truck, but as you see him jump on that apron again, it is slightly shorter using the apron as well, so it's a shorter way around the track, but jumping out of that draft, as long as there's a hole to jump back in, as we see him do there very nicely, it's pretty much worth the time and the effort using that apron and to make the way forward. He seems to be using that apron quite well to do so. It's on the inside now of the 023 of Troy Davison from Simboy. So Simboys and Pinnacle going at it, and they seem to be very quickly and very acclaimed to running together, Simboys and Pinnacle. So definitely the competitive nature between those two teams are there, and a bit of friendly rivalry as well. So look for those two drivers to make their way forward as well.
You got Craig Roffey in the run. He's just gone around Dwayne Priest. Andy Barber's trying to get through there as well. He does. Craig Roffey, though, is right at the back of Troy Davison, and Raymond Yeager's just picking him off. We've been watching this battle and him move through the field, and he's just picking another one off and moving through. But a good battle here, Roffey and Davison earlier on. Good battle. It's up the front, though. Darren McKenzie, Trent Gosley, 0.2 of a second gap between them, and Gosley and Douglas even closer side by side. Douglas down the inside. Top 3 battling. But Darren McKenzie, 0.4 of a second in the lead. What are we? Lap 21 or 120, just under 100 laps to go here now, and even the front guys here using the aprons. We go caution again. We'll find out what went on. Jason. No, that was an old caution, so not too sure what happened there, Joy, but we'll find out. Kobe Jordan.
Yeah, the second caution of the night. Incident. Yeah, second caution of the night, and yeah, Kobe Jordan. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, coming off a league race win last night as well. So new team and LCR and Inside Lane Productions merging, and they managed to get a first and a third last night. So definitely a bit of a strange ones there. Is that may have been another VR problem for Kobe, as he's been having a bit of that lately. So bit of an unlucky situation by the look of it, but a lot of these leaders hitting pit road for the first time.
Yeah, there was a bit of a weird one. There's a checkout out on the exit of that corner, and a little bit of a rear end there as well, and he just dropped below the yellow, and not too sure what happened there. We'll try and get back to him once the race goes green again. Gary Wellman stays out, surprisingly. Lap 23 or 120 under caution, but Gary Wellman stays out. Any gain in that, Jai, do you think?
Definitely the opportunity for a gain. We see Colin Burns was also in pit lane, but he's come out in second, so I believe that may have been a missed pit box, but comes out in second, so we have to just keep an eye on second place in the 111 just to see if he comes back down pit road and has a second attempt in stopping in the box. But yeah, definitely Gary Wellman, as we see, runs just rounding up the pace car a bit, but yeah, strategic from Wellman. He's been very good with his pit calls in this championship and in other leagues as well. Kind of doing something different and giving it a crack and see if he can really get up there and take something to these guys. So I believe it was strategic from Roman, but runs maybe not, as we see him take the lead briefly on the timing and then back behind. So not sure exactly what's happened there with the 111, but definitely a choice for track position for Gary Wellman up front in the 45.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only gain at the moment, and I think the I'm starting to sort of understand the oval scene, and sometimes when you do that too, Jai, is if you can sort of half sense another caution, or just to put you off kilter. So that can be another reason. But track position definitely is going to be definitely key for him at the minute. He's going to have older tyres though, although 24 out of 120 is probably the tyre where wouldn't be looking too bad. Remember the window was around about that 30 laps, Jai. So I think he might be expecting rather another caution.
Yeah, quite possibly, but he actually came down pit road on that first caution on lap 9 as well, so he's not too far off. He's roughly about 11 laps, 11 to 13 laps off kilter with the rest of the field. So he has come down pit lane once, but definitely on a very different strategy compared to these top guys here. So seeing the first person that's taken tyres is Darren McKenzie in 6th place and Dave Douglas in 7th. The rest of them electing not to take tyres yet in this early stage. So we'll have to just see the tyre difference and really go back and look at Darren McKenzie and Dave Douglas to see how quickly they can make up that ground, if at all, with the fresh tyres overused.
I think that'll be quite evident. I think what we work out around about 30 laps is probably around about the window is have some of the teams worked out how to drive these cars and not be too aggressive on the tyres. They might have been some of them drivers we've seen coaxing that high line and getting that to work. So we'll see how that plays out. Second caution, we'll probably see one or two more, but it's been clean from the start. Clean from the last restart. More than likely see another clean restart here again. And just to clarify, Aidan Schulz is 52. That's his race number, but in this league, defending champion from last season. So when you win a championship, you can carry the number 1, and he elected to, so that's why he's number 1. Gary Wellman, Colin Bruns, front row. Wellman, get to that Geico restart zone, bring us to green. Another restart, we're gone, and good restart. 111 on the outside, just got left napping. So did the 4 though. Nice clean restart. We've seen a lot of that. The leader just gets away and keeps them napping. Raymond Yeager and Darren McKenzie side by side. Darren McKenzie's going to get checked up for the 30. That's around about the top 8 mark. Bottom line working, high line. Remember, that's where you have to save tyres. 3 wide briefly. McKenzie down the middle. Nice run. Have a look at that run, Jai. You got to know when to take the run and leave the run. Definitely take the run was the good call there. Down the inside, makes it work.
Yeah, it was such a great move by Darren McKenzie, really making use of these fresh tyres. As you see, the 10 of Dave Douglas ranging up on the back of DMAC as well. So those fresh tyres really making a charge through. But Colin Bruns in the 111, he'll be looking for a caution quite quickly here. Is yet to hit pit road as well. So, but by the look of those paints, it's Gosley and Bruns teammates running 1-2 early on here at the end of lap 27 of 120 as we almost see 4 wide coming through the front straightaway, Pete.
Oh, a little bit of contact. Darren McKenzie, Raymond Yeager into the wall. Almost 4 wide. That doesn't work. I think we're going to stay green here. Dave Douglas may have been a part of that as well. I struggled to grab him.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. We saw both Darren and Dave there just get tagged by that little bit of contact heading into 1. So the fresh tyres obviously really helping them in saving those trucks on the old tyres that might not have been the same ending to that story. But yeah, definitely unfortunate. Darren did a really good job catching it, and and Dave did a really good job of making it around 1-2 on the apron and not losing too much speed. Little bit of a wheel coming off too, but kept it straight at the end of it. So some pretty heads up driving, just a bit of an unfortunate incident. Checked up a few drivers, but we do stay green, and Darren starting to make the run back towards the front, gets one of the Roffies a bit loose, Craig Roffey that is, and gave him a secondary tap just to straighten him up as well. So a little bit of an incident, but at the same time it's a little bit of a whoops, sorry, and here you go, buddy. We'll straighten you back up and keep racing under green as well. So some quick hands by Craig Roffey to save that truck as well.
Yeah, a couple of good saves here, and I've noticed on the 1.5 miles you need quick hands because it doesn't take much to step out. But in that last incident, just hope that that little bit of a touch on that wall for Jaeger isn't detrimental. Hopefully he can keep pushing. Andy Barber's in a fierce battle. He's got Trahan, Tompkins, Wellman behind him. Wellman, remember, got pole position, battling out there, up 7. 6 from where he started in 17th. I thought he had pole. He might have led the screen, I'm not too sure. Observant one, I am. Dave Douglas down 17 is side by side with Wellman. Good run, and it's quite evident now. You can see who's got the fresh tyres now. Have a look at that run down the inside for the truck 7.
Yeah, it was an extremely good run there, and as you see, the fresh tyres are really making their way through the field quite quickly as well. So it was about 25 laps of difference on the tyres from the ones who were a bit under that last option and the ones that are a little bit stable on that first set. So yeah, we're seeing quite a big difference with the 25 lap difference in tyres as well. So that's only going to get bigger as the run goes on.
And what I'm surprised to see, we're still seeing 3 wide, 4 wide. It just brought out a caution just not too long ago. We're still seeing it though. Andy Barber down the inside of Greg Spencer. That'll move him up into the top at 10. One of the biggest movers, Greg Spencer. That's the battle. He's going to get checked up for the 23. But Greg Spencer up 18 positions, up 19 position now as they move through. Dave Douglas is going with them as well. And the runs that they're taking, they're choosing to take them early in. Sorry, Jai.
Yeah, definitely magnifying those runs and taking them as they come as well. So as you see Andy Barber in that Skypoynt number 5 truck really making his way forward, and Dave Douglas going with him as well. Both of these trucks are on fresh tyres, and the guys around him not so fresh. As we see Andy just looking on the inside of Skirley here, which also took new tyres. So this is a genuine pace here by Andy Barber.
Yeah, it's impressive drive by a few drivers at the moment, and the front runners, well, they're out in front. They're doing a good job. Mackenzie, Gosley, Pritchard, they're side by side. That's your 3 at the minute. Bruns, Schulz and Vassal. So 5 cars starting to pull away a little bit. Then the next group as we go caution, lap 35. That's why I've been staying away from them leaders. Every time I go on the leaders, a caution comes out. But Mackenzie, Pritchard, Gosley, what do you reckon? They're liking this caution, Jai?
Quite possibly, especially Bruns really needing this caution to come out to hit pit road. But I did see Craig Roffey and Shannon Blackburn just drop down the order a bit. So maybe it was another Roffey caught up in an incident here early on. So not the night that they'd be looking for, but definitely strong if they can get some of any damage fixed that they may have got. As a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, a couple of big names in there. I can probably go back a little bit further. Let's have a look. So go back a little bit further. We'll go live. I'll pick that up. A couple of drivers involved in that.
Yeah, the 222 truck getting caught up in that one a bit late. Maybe just not being able to wire that truck up in time. But definitely a few trucks making a bit of contact in that one.
It's a bit of a weird one too, because even the replay didn't pick it up. I might go back a little bit further, around about probably here. If it's a little bit further, I apologise. We'll jump back on anyway and have a look from here. Let's go high in the air and the blimp. Oh, there we go. Probably caught it about the same time. Skurlock gathers it up, gets into one of the pinnacles, and it's just ping pong, isn't it? Spinning top. Wish we'd go out a little bit further because there's probably a lot of cars involved in that, and probably a lot bigger than what we just showed, Jai, because that looked to be a big incident with cars flying everywhere.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of trucks getting caught up and some form of damage in that incident. But what I did notice in that overhead shot as well, when Craig got spun up into the wall and was facing backwards, the first truck on the scene on that high line and getting a bit caught up against Roffey in the wall there was actually the 10 of Dave Douglas as well. So definitely not the incident for the top two in the championship with Sherlock and Douglas getting caught up early here at Kansas.
We've got Kobe on the Facebook chat. He's just saying, more yellows, please. I still have 20 minutes left on the engine swap. So, Kobe, let's fingers crossed for you, mate. I don't think the rest of the field is going to have their fingers crossed, Jai. But probably around about from the top 20, or Dave Douglas, Greg Spencer, and all them guys now, they're driving down pit road, chosen the pit now. So I think half the field, or maybe even a third of the field, they're all working on different strategies. It's going to be a good finish, I think, Jai, once we can get to it, because definitely a few of the groups are working together quite evidently.
Yeah, definitely a lot of teammates kind of forming up as this race progresses through the laps. But as I'm just looking at my live timing, does score Kobe down 22 and 16 laps down. So going by that number, it was probably around the lap 20 to 21 mark. And if he's saying he's got some engine repairs to repair that motor, at Kansas, they're actually allowed to run up to 100% taped. So it may be a tape problem, running a little bit more tape than he should have been. Because obviously it's a big risk running more tape. But the more tape you run, the faster that truck's going to be. So a lot of these drivers will be pushing that. So we'll have to keep an eye on a few, maybe like engine expiries as the race goes on. And especially as the racing gets closer, as if they're really in behind the truck seems to heat up quite a lot there. So they're going to be poking their nose out and really making those extra lines to use, getting some air on the nose of those trucks as well. So have to keep an eye on that as the night goes on.
Definitely we will, and hopefully by this, if they're still onto it, obviously they might even have be in their team discords or have an engineer in there keeping an eye on all that. Kobe's in comments, I got into the back of the car when the field checked up. Damage caused the donk to overheat, so a little bit of nose to tail damage. That must have been the off the restart or at the very start of the race, or off one of the restarts, Jai, but a little bit of nose to tail. Darren McKenzie alongside Tommy Pritchard, so the liveries look different. They are in fact all tied up, aren't they? Running the Skypoynt team and the Southern Stars team, but different liveries, same team. And you've got the number one of Schulz in there as well, and Gosley, he's in a bit of a Southern Stars Skypoynt sandwich. Let's see how they go getting back to green. 43 cars started. Not too sure if we've got any out, any DNFs yet, but definitely not shy of entertainment, Jais. The pace truck will pull away, and Darren McKenzie has that opportunity again. Start, middle, end. What will he do? Down shifts in the middle again. Off he goes. He would have called out to his partner in crime, Tom Pritchard. Trent Gosley goes with him down on the bottom line. Here we go. Southern Stars in a row. This is what you want to see. Teamwork at its best.
Yeah, so we had McKenzie starting off the inside pole, Pritchard on the outside pole, but we also had Aidan Schultz and Andy Barber starting second and third on that outside row as well. So look for all four of those trucks to really hook up and really work together to hopefully get a little bit of a gap on this field. But yeah, definitely two different liveries, but they're not even really sister teams either. They're all one team. They're all part of the same kind of garage and same team, just displaying the two different liveries, and a bit of support for the Southern Stars as a team and a bit of support for the Skypoynt as naming right sponsor of this series, and thanks Tom for putting on this series along with Andy Barber and really making this really the place to be for all these guys on a Tuesday night. It's a stacked field again, maxed out server, 43 as mentioned before, and how good is the racing created with the 43 trucks here at Kansas as well.
Yeah, well, we've had a couple of cautions, but look at the driving, the side draft in play. Look at Trent Gosley, Aiden Schulz, bit of side draft. They're not giving up that inside line. They're going to be clear. You'll probably see Aiden Schulz drop out, or Andy Barber, though, coming to the rescue. Team boss, I'll save you, Aiden, up the inside, or around the outside, although Trent Gosley slots in. He goes, oh, I've seen what's happening here. You'll get out of this one right now. Good to see teamwork happening. Bit of a battle happening. Ruben Phelps is in almost 3 wide for this group. Troy Davison and Danny Vassell. Slow car just under the apron.
Yeah, it may have been just a car leaving pit lane as they head into 1 and 2, but what they might have to do here is just tuck in behind this 4 truck with Trent Gosley and really maybe add him to the ally of trucks with the teammates, as well as Gosley was doing a really good job to kind of split those 4 trucks up and really kind of make them not be able to follow in the line, as we see Aiden just drop on the apron here and leave Andy up to dry a little bit like. But yeah, definitely the 4 truck doing all he can to break up this this pairing and this 4 truck Southern Star Esport guys. So good, really good heads up driving by Gosley, taking on 1 against 4 trucks, and he's doing a really good job of it.
Don't forget, we've got the 06 of Ruben Phelps, and we all know by now, no love lost between this group of cars. They're going to be racing hard. They're going to want to win, and they're going to win fair. Half the drivers use the apron, half the drivers don't. Skypoynt out in front, 1, 2, 3, Mackenzie, Pritchard, Schulz. Have a look at this teamwork. 3 wide. Is that Andy Barber trying to get back in tow? I think it is. And 45 out of 120. A glimpse of Torquil Yellow.
Yeah, definitely still green at 45 out of 120, and this race, even with a couple of cautions, it's really moving on. So we've just hit over 1/3 distance, and the racing is only going to get faster and more competitive. We see a few trucks just exploring a few lines here and seeing if they can manage to get a run on the truck directly in front of them.
Look at the 06 moving up now. He's moved from probably around about 5th position up into 3rd. He's got the run up behind Tom Pritchard, bit of a bump. Covers, Aiden Schulz gets into the back of him, 23 and 4, going to run through. That's going to allow Andy, I thought he was going to run with him, he doesn't. Ruben Phelps slots back in, but a little bit of nose to tail. Hopefully they didn't do any damage. It doesn't take much in these trucks.
Yeah, as Kobe mentioned before, just a bit of nose to tail is enough to cape the front end and obviously pop the motor. So Aiden might just have to take a couple of laps and maybe check his idle speed and just see how the error is around the turn and make sure that nose isn't too crushed in. But yeah, definitely a check up by Ruben, but it seemed to be the 2 trucks in front of him kind of closed the door and blocked off his run, and he's kind of just had to check up just to avoid a wreck there. So definitely heads up driving and not to cause a massive wreck, but he's back on it and taking the lead of this one. So definitely running that high line and making that work.
Well, Ruben Phelps grabbed the leading the lap point that time round. Troy Davison wants to have a crack as well. I think that's one thing we should take note of. I think everyone's going to have a crack at leading this race. The 023 wants that point. That's what he wants. I don't think Davison's led a lap yet. Southern Star's starting to link up in the background with Mackenzie and Pritchard still working hard as well. But these guys up front, 2 lines blocking the Southern Stars. We know when you have a big team of drivers, they can push through the field quite easily because, well, 4 cars is better than 5. But 2 lines for pretty much the majority of the top 20. So it's good to see both lines working, although Southern Stars now probably will drop down and run the bottom. Good to see, but this front pack really sealing the show and still running 2 lines, like 50 or 120, 70 to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of trucks starting to battle on for the 3rd position on the back, but Ruben Phelps, Troy Davison, they're starting to run away with this one, and we saw Troy Davison really using that bottom line to his advantage to take it to Ruben as well. So that's the difference in 14 laps in tyres as well. So look for him to be able to run that bottom and maybe make a pass. But definitely heading up to 3rd places. We've got 3rd on back to 16th in quite close quarters.
Yeah, it's a good little battle this one, isn't it? I think is that Noddy Tompkins making a move? I think that is Noddy Tompkins rather making a move. He's splitting the Southern Stars, boys. That's what they've tried to do. I think most of them. Jumps up behind Aidan Schulz in front of Darren McKenzie, and he gets in front. Can that hamper you working as a team when drivers keep splitting you, Jai, or do you just run with it and take the blows as it goes? There's a rhyme. There you go, boys.
It really depends on how draft dependent the track is, and also kind of your strategy as well. So if you see team cars on a very draft dependent track, you either want to work with them or split them up, and either way you gain an advantage yourself in doing so. So jumping in between some team trucks at a lot of these tracks is really worth it for the results side of things. So if you can do that and can do that well, you'll start heading up and really take it to the team cars, especially if you're running by yourself or like away from a few of your teammates, as we saw Gosley do early on and really splitting up the 4 trucks out of the Southern Star stable. We saw how well that worked for him earlier on. So look for a few of these one-off drivers to really take it to the big teams and really kind of split them up.
With Tyson McAvoy in the mix as well, 037. He's going to run now. Andy Barber's going to halt that by covering the low line. He's going to get in behind and start to push. Bump drafting into trucks, you can do it. There's not really much of a straight here to probably get it done, and risk versus reward, whether you agree to a bump or not. Jai, this track, you maybe want to steer clear of it, but I think if you're running around your team, you could probably give it a crack. But good to see this middle bunch. It's hard to take their eyes off it. We will go back a little bit further because we've got Stevie Williams. He's back in 17th position, so not a name we see down there often. Jai, Danny Vassal's down here as well, a little bit further back. He's having to battle with Kim Roffey down here by maybe not the start they want down here because of strategy. Well, only time will tell. Sean Rigby's a little bit further back with Skurlock and Wellman. Not too shabby names to be around.
Yeah, definitely some big names, but really good for Sean. He's up 7 from where he started as well, and this is actually his debut race as well. First time in the Skypoynt Trucks series, I believe, and doing quite a good job in 25th at the moment. So definitely a good showing, and definitely enjoying himself a little bit.
We'll keep an eye on him, mate. One of your teammates, definitely good to see him out here. But just heats up a little bit up ahead with with Kim Roffey and Danny Vassal. Vassal being the 23 machine, is it? Was it? No, that's Troy Mortensen. Might be a little bit out of sync, and is. So Troy Mortensen up there battling with him, but he's in fact back there in 28th position, and no blue flags really here in Oval. Just the gentleman rule is give plenty of room there.
Yeah, Troy's a good racer as well. He's a hard racer, and probably his biggest critic is himself. Always flying for that good result as well. But in his well-known purple colours again, as he's part of the Platinum Racing team as well. So I was happy to keep Troy as a teammate as I jump ship and move teams as well. So definitely doing a good job, and definitely happy to have that purple back on his truck, I can tell you.
And he's doing a good job too. And Darren McKenzie may have slipped down the order a little bit. He's having a good battle with Greg Spencer at the moment. Right up on the rear he was, but he's fallen back just a little bit, and maybe in the clutches of Johnston, I think that is, the 27. Around the high line, that's where it seems to be getting the passes done. Back up the front though, Phelps, Davison, Tompkins. They're the guys up the front. Aidan Schulz in a little bit of a battle with Gareth Anderson. So the front guys still heating it on, but the battle now, about 7 cars up front.
Yeah, that mid-pack battle kind of got separated a bit, but it wasn't as much as trucks dropping off the pack as to the front, a few actually catching Ruben and Davison out front. So they started to extend their legs a little bit, but Noddy Tompkins leading the charges. It looks underneath Troy Davison in turns 3 and 4. Really led the charge back to these front two. So they might have gone too hard too soon on the tyres maybe, and the rest of the field is starting to come back.
What about Ruben Phelps? He's got a gap of around about 0.35 of a second. And leading out in front, we noticed what we did touch on briefly as we go 3 wide, a little bit further back, or touch on 3 wide. Ruben Phelps out in front, temperatures, do you think they'd be getting high out in front, or do you think out in front with all that air would keep the temps down as he pulls off? And green flag pit stops up 60 of 120.
Yeah,
30, 30, 30, I think.
Yeah, it's 38 laps, I believe, from his last pit stop. Yeah, 30. Yeah. So scheduled stop for Ruben there, and obviously running out front, you use a little bit more fuel than the rest of the pack, but Darren McKenzie has actually scored a lap down at the moment, so he's just made a pit stop. So watch for him to make the undercut and really use his fresh tyres as a very untimely caution for some of these drivers as we go yellow.
Oh yes, you got a feel for them, don't you? The guys that have just entered pit now, they're going to be trapped, because some of them, especially if you're ready to exit, Jai, they can slam that exit shut as well. I'm not too sure. You might be elaborate a little bit more on the finer details to that, but I do know they slam shut the exit as well as the entry when we brought out a caution. So unlucky for some of them guys that have just pit.
Yeah, they definitely shut the entry to pit road at the point of the yellow flag. So as soon as that caution goes out, your pit lane entry is closed, but the pit lane exit only closes when the pace car is about to pass the pit exit. Sorry. So a lot of those drivers won't be trapped in pit lane, but they'll be hoping that they don't go one lap down, as if they're trapped at one lap down, it's a little bit of a harder job and harder task for the rest of the night for those drivers.
All the drivers now, most of them are peeling in. Davison in, Bruns, Priest, Spencer Johnson, Trahares in the lane also, McAvoy, Williams, Marshall, Roffey, Pat, and those guys that are pit, obviously they would stay out. Or do you see any benefit of a double dip?
Not at this stage, as even if the fuel can go 30 laps, that's still one stop home from the end. So for the drivers that have come down pit road already before the caution, they really don't have a choice but to stay out to try and get that lap back that they've just lost. We see one of the, I think that was Andy Barber in the Skypoynt truck, go flying around the outside, so he would have received the lucky dog and putting the hammer down and trying to catch the back of this field. But those
lucky dog going high. I think that's what we say, isn't it? Lucky dog high.
That's definitely right. You don't want to get crashed out when we're trying to get your lap back. But if you hit the pit road before the caution flag, you're going to want to stay out and try and get that lap back. For those who didn't hit pit road yet, it's really good for them, because when they pit, they'll still restart in front of all those cars that were a lap down at the start of the caution as well. So very beneficial for the people that have stayed out. But if you did manage to get to pit road and stay on the lead lap when you came out of pit road before the caution, you'll find that driver right there in the lead of this race. So definitely untimely for some and timely for others.
Just picked up as well, got a little bit sidetracked trying to do my pretty weak impersonations, I should say. Darren McKenzie gone off track, and this is what's brought out the caution. Pit exit.
Yeah, so that's very unlucky for D-Mac there, just being hitting early and trying to get that undercut, maybe pushing a little bit too much on the exit, as they've got to stay on that apron through 1 and 2 until that blue cone, and then they can enter the track. So maybe just pushing a little bit hard, but maybe if it was about 10 degrees less on that slide angle, that caution wouldn't have come out. So definitely unlucky, and definitely trapped a few of his teammates further back, but they'll be looking to get the wave round, as we saw Andy Barber get the lucky dog, so he's already scored back on the lead lap. So we'll have to see if the rest of these drivers can manage to get the wave round, or otherwise they'll be hoping for maybe a few more cautions to use a bit of strategy to get back to that lead.
For Andy Barber, one of the mentioned drivers you were talking about, he got the lucky dog. He places himself in front of Aidan Shaw's Reuben Phelps, in with them guys, Darren McKenzie in 20th, so there's going to be plenty of help on Pritchard's there and thereabouts as well. A little bit further down in the order, but I think their strategy, although somewhat hampered, I don't think they'll be worrying too much with still just under half this race to go. But you can see the stars lighting up. Oh, there we go. A bit of pun there. There was no pun intended there. The stars lining up for the stars. There you go, Jai. Unintended pun, but as it stands, Tompkins, Anderson, Jones, Davison, Bruns at your 5, and Williams back there. Steve Williams fighting through, up 20 positions from where he started. He's going to start probably around about 3rd or 4th row once we get going green again, but 4th caution and a little bit over half a race distance.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of stop-start, but a lot of green flag running as we saw the start of green flag pit stops starting to happen there as well. So it's right on the borderline, but I know a few people love their puns as well, Pete, and one that would have loved that would have been Mr. Andy Barber himself. Loves chasing storms over in the States, and how good would it be if he could write a storyline about the stars aligning at Kansas?
Stars aligning will be Southern Stars 1, 2, 3, 4, but not right now. 65 or 120. Tompkins brings us back to green. Gareth Anderson went with him. Jones, Davison and Priest, they all settled back down again. A little bit unsettled though, from around about 15th position backwards, but we're right on board with around about this top 5 or 6. We got Stevie Williams, Greg Spencer, they're close together. Have a look at these trucks. 43 here at Kansas. Lap 66 of 120. Let's enjoy them. Let's enjoy them while they're close together, Jai. Let's crank it up. Check out that restart. We can watch these and listen to these cars pass the cameras like this all day. One last time, have a look at this. So close together off the restart. We've had 4 restarts on cautions. But have a look at this driving of Tompkins, Anderson, Jones, Davison up front, starting to make the gap away a little bit. This gap, we got 3 wide almost in the mid-pack. We got Roffy's involved, Stars involved. Luke Trahare's involved in that as well. Have a look at them 3 wide. They're not scared to go 3 wide here at Kansas.
Yeah, definitely not scared at the moment. There's a lot of big teams in this pack here. We've got Stars, we've got Middle Split, we've got Simboys, we've got Pinnacle, all going blow for blow. A few BMX Bandits in there. So everyone going hammer and top at the moment. Lap 70, still 50 laps to go. Quite a long way, but definitely running points. So Noddy Tompkins comes to the front up 19. Bit of a different restart that we saw though there. A lot of the front trucks splitting up and a lot of this mid-pack really going 2, 3 wide and not afraid to do so. So we see a lot of these trucks still running a bit of different lines, but they might have to back it down a few notches as we still do have 50 laps to go. So definitely at least one more stop for a lot of drivers, and maybe pushing a bit hard too soon, and they'll be looking to maybe just save their tyres a little bit and really come back as this run goes on.
The run's going on. We're 3 wide again. Little movement. Good. The 6, I think that's Tom Pritchard. Good. Little bit of insight there. We know how good it is. A little bit of contact again between 27 and 23. I tell you, when you can see a car, we can see it like that. Drive. Good bit of instinct, wasn't it? From, I think that's Tom. They got together. He just moved down 27, and I think that may have been Troy Davison. Just coming together a little bit. Rubbing doors. Lap 72 or 120. Most drivers in good spirit. We're going yellow again.
Yeah, definitely going yellow here for the 5th time here at Kansas tonight. So it may have been a result of those extremely hard and close quarters racing, but I know the league owners here at Skypoynt, both Tom and Andy, they don't mind a bit of door rubbing and banging doors as long as it's done in a competitive way. So rubbing is racing in this league, and if you can rub doors and have a good race and really be able to keep continuing racing and not really hindering another driver, that seems to just create good racing. So a bit of a strange caution there. A couple of trucks just getting sideways enough to bring out the caution. So definitely unlucky for those front running guys, obviously wanting to stay green as any driver would. But yeah, just would have been right on the borderline for that yellow flag to come out by the look of that one.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened here. I'll try and have another crack at it. Could have been something more to it. I think we've seen a blue car that may have been the other 41. Just get a little bit loose. But to me, I don't think it's enough to bring it out. Go back up. Go back up high. I think this was the same battle. A little bit loose look, bit of contact. 90 degrees. That may have been it. Giant car into the wall. Truck into the wall there as well. That's the incident, 100%. I think crashes, if you're out of control, that's when you get the incident point anyway. Your two incident points, isn't it, Jai? When your car's deemed to be out of control, loss of contact, 90 degree to the track, and that's what he was, just briefly. Brought out the caution. Unfortunate. Good spot in there too, mate.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate, and definitely just got sideways enough to bring out the yellow, but ended up just getting hit in that front quarter panel and straighten him up as well. So very lucky to get straightened up as well, but unlucky for the caution. So when a truck gets to a certain degree angle sideways to the racing line and the angle the truck should be on, that's how iRacing detect a yellow flag to come out as well. So that still looks pretty borderline and still look pretty close, as I'm not sure on the exact number of degree that iRacing judged their automatic cautions on, but that one obviously just enough to bring out the yellow flag.
See Gosley, Priest, Phelps, Marshall, a couple of other drivers, Vassal in the lane as well, so opting to go with cautions. We're going to pit Maxi Marshall, and then they should be on the pit exit by now coming out. 1.5 mile as well. You don't want to be pitting out of sequence, do you, Jai? Because it's so easy to become a lap down here. 1.5 miles, one lap around here, and I think the times we're doing 31 seconds. So you stopped in pit lane for longer than that.
Yeah, the pit transit time is definitely longer than that 30 seconds, as we saw that green flag pit stop period interrupted by the last caution that we had. So definitely easy to go lap down if you do pit under green, but pitting under caution, it is very easy just to stay on that lead lap and even take some repairs in doing so as well, and getting those few repairs done and staying on the lead lap. So if you're going to pit, under caution is definitely the way to go over a green flag pit stop and get trapped a lap down like we saw a lot of those drivers do in that last caution period.
A little bit harder too in 1.5 miles in the Jai, whether you can, I know in super speedways, you can sort of, if you've got some optionals there, pit in, get the, the required done, pull out, then come back in, get a little bit of those optional, pull out, pull back in, maybe 3-4 laps, you can get quite a substantial amount of optionals done, but here probably not so much.
Yeah, definitely harder to get those optional repairs done at a shorter track than the super speedways. Obviously the super speedways caution laps can go for 2.5-3.5 minutes, where the caution laps here are only going for around the minute 20, minute 25 mark. So it's a bit shorter distance and a bit shorter of a time period to actually get those repairs done.
Spencer, Pat and Barber, that's your three at the miniature hair. They're your two front rows that will start when we go to green. Fifth caution here tonight. 76 laps done out of 120. Round 12 with the Skypoynt NASCAR Trucks E-Series here at Kansas. And thanks to Skypoynt, naming right sponsor. Thanks, Tom. Thanks to his generosity, his business. Funds this series, gets a broadcast, gets all the prize money as well. Royal Triple Crown if you can get the Daytona leg, the Talladega leg, and also the series. Well, that's the Royal Triple Crown, the Royal Flush of the series, if you will, and $1,000, mate. So that's up for grabs. I think Skurlock and Douglas are favourite contenders, or got to be within favourites to take that out. It's not going to be so impossible as we thought.
Yeah, they're definitely looking strong to take out the Royal Triple Crown. Good results in all the Super Speedway events so far and the Championship as well. So definitely looking to take that one out and have a good remainder of the season as we start to go back to the Geico restart zone for the green flag. But I've just got to resolve a little bit issue, so I might leave you to yourself for a little bit, Pete, but I should be back in a couple of minutes.
Take your time, mate. The guys are making it easy. We're green again. Lap 76, lap 77 now. Greg Spencer, Nigel Patton, they all go with him. Andy Barber with a good restart from him as well. And look at, I think that's Troy Davison up on the rear of Kim Roffey on the low line. The high line's still going to 2 rows. That doesn't matter. This mid-pack, 3 wide, 4 wide. Is that a touch of 5 wide? We've got Southern Stars. I think that's that may be Aiden Schultz or someone behind there moving forward eagerly. Have a look at these teamwork. Have a look at this mid-pack. We've been having a look at these guys. These names, McAvoy, McKenzie, Schultz, Pritchard, Skurlock, Vassell, all these guys. This is how they've been racing. Good driving so far. 037, a little bit further back. He's in another good battle. Good names around him. Maxi Marshall. Phelps is up there as we got a car. We got a car, very slow car. Southern Stars, I think that was. Was that Tom Pritchard? Goes a little bit under the yellow. We've got a purple car under the yellow as well. I'm not too sure. We stay green though. We stay green. So far, lap 79 to 180. Not too sure what happened there with that Southern Stars car. 6. Get back up the front, we'll investigate a little bit more. Andy Barber, Greg Spencer, Luke Trahere. Andy Barber to the lead. How good's that? Side by side, Trahere and Spencer. Oh, trying to use that side draft. A little bit of contact's made. That's all right. They get through. Bottom line working a little bit stronger. Remember, you've got to wear your tyres down there. Andy Barber, Trahere, a good battle behind. Roffey's trying to stay there and thereabouts. A little bit loose there for Kim Roffey in the 99. 80, 120, 40 to go. Nigel Patton. Luke Trahere having a good battle. Greg Spencer now gets out in front. He wants to have, or not out front of this battle. He wants to chase down Andy Barber. Andy Barber's got a good lead, 0.47. Oh, we got contact! Big accident, big contenders taken out of that one as well. Nigel Patton. We go caution number 6, lap 81. Now I tell you, with 40 laps to go, Andy Barber is starting to work his way through, get a good lead, nearly half a second as we went yellow. We sometimes see and we expect. Maybe when we go down to yellow that it's maybe someone a little bit further down the field. This in turn was the guys up the field. Big contenders taken away. We go to a Skypoynt replay. Let's have a look. What happened? Here's the leaders. There's that 3 wide battle. There's Kim Roffey, I think, involved in that. We'll go high in the air for the view. And I'm not going to catch it here, I don't think. I'm not going to catch it. I think that's already it's already happened. We go back live. Here we go. I'll get another snab at it. We'll go high in the air straight away though with this. I did get one thing right. Kim Roffey was involved. We go high in the air. This is why we're on the caution here. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh, look at that. They all just wanted that same. 4 cars in one don't work. That's why we're on the caution. Unlucky for Roffey. Kim Roffey in that car. Andy Barber, Spencer Trahere leads. Nigel Patton's in the lane. Gosley, Anderson, Williams, Davison, Bruns in the lane. Busy pit lane again. 83 of 120. Hope you're enjoying the racing here at Kansas. Round 12. Skypoynt NASCAR Truck E Series. How good's it been? A few cautions. Lucky Dog going high. I think that may have been Aiden Schultz. Lucky Dog going high and is. Gets his lap back. His teammate will lead. A couple of lights are out, so one to green here. One to green. 37 laps to go. Barber, Spencer, Trahere, Jones, Johnston, and Priest. They're going to be your three roads to lead us, rows rather, not roads, rows of cars to lead us back to green. We got Jai. I thought the lights were out. They're not. So probably 2 to green now, Jai. I'm not too sure if she stepped away. I'm not too before or after this period, but I'll put a replay on for you to have a look. Kim Roffey was involved in one and quite close to the front of the battle, but here's how it unplayed. Have a look at this, mate. 4 into 1. Doesn't work.
Yeah, just looking like they got tapped in the rear quarter panel and quite, just went around quite easily. So, yeah, definitely had to step away then, but I'm back and yeah, didn't miss too much by the look of it, as I think this would be our 7th caution, Pete.
Let's have a look. Let's the 6th caution of the night, 84 or 120. So Barber still, he was getting a good lead too. It's showing now 0.6 of a seconds. He had that when we were running for green, just before, running at green conditions. Squeeze up obviously because we're doing it around about 100k an hour. But what have we got? So lights are still on. So it'll be 2 to green, 1.5 laps to go roughly. Barber, Spencer Trahere, Jones, Johnson, Priest, Smith, Tompkins, Phelps, Gosley. I don't know. You keep an eye on sort of the race and where it's at a little bit more than me, or probably downplayed that. Probably a lot more than me, Jai. Who have you noticed? Have you noticed anyone that's pretty much a dark horse that's really onto this strategy? This 84 120. What have we got? Oh, 85 or 120 now. 35 to go.
Well, if you do cast your mind back about 25 laps ago into that untimely caution that came out in the middle of the green flag pit stops and kind of trapped a few drivers down, the driver that got the lucky dog at that caution was actually Andy Barber, who's now in the lead of this race. So maybe just put himself in a position where he made that pit stop and got himself back on the lead lap. And then a bit of strategy as well as pace, as we saw early on. Andy Barber had quite a lot of pace charging his way through the field, and he's ended up in P1 at the moment. So we'll see if he can stay there. But definitely coming back from a lap down, getting the lucky dog and now in the lead of this race, he's looking very strong here tonight. And the only thing that he might be a little bit unhappy about tonight is the fact that he hasn't got his damage yet tonight, as he's a lover of damage.
Oh, he loves damage, absolutely loves damage, and what's the saying? If you can't beat him, join him, and had a few unlucky races, and he's copped a lot of damage, so now instead of cursing it, he embraces it. The number 5 Skypoynt, Andy Barber leading, and cool, calm, collected type of bloke, isn't he? Jai is going to lead us to green. He's going to leave everyone napping here. Where's he going to go? Oh, at the end of the Geico restart as he takes the apron, back under green again. Quite a slow restart, I think, or maybe we've seen a couple of them now, so that he sink it in a little bit.
Yeah, and jumps up to a little bit of a lead there. So the first driver we've actually seen tonight use the apron to an advantage of a restart. So there is a rule in this league that you're not allowed to make a full lane change, and definitely using the apron is not one of the lanes. So not making a full change, and maybe just a bit of a 1000 IQ moment there, and a bit of a play by Andy Barber, and definitely worked on that restart. So we'll see who took a few notes from Andy there, and maybe use that as an advantage to their race later on.
He won this battle around about that the mid to high 10 sort of position mark, or 10th position mark, right on board at the moment in this battle. 27, Johnson, Gosley, Tompkins, they're all in there, but Andy Barber starting to make a name for himself and pull away a little bit side by side behind him. Spencer Trahere, not too dissimilar to what we've seen before. Troy Mortensen, jumping Discord, mate. We go yellow again, jumping Discord. He's out, unfortunately, but we go yellow again. I'm not too sure, Jai.
Yeah, yellow again. So this one will be our 7th caution of the night on lap 88, and Andy had a really good lead until that caution came out, so definitely the last thing you want to see.
212 with Chris Tomlin had a little bit of an incident. Oh, there's a slow sudden stars. Not too sure who that was. Aiden entering pit lane and getting a little bit of a nudge on the way in as well. So a couple of drivers, a couple of mates as well getting caught up in that. I'll have another look, Jai, and you'll be able to confirm or deny if that call was correct. But we'll go high back up in the air. We'll go back high in the air again. We'll have a look. So 0-2. We've got the 2-1-2 we're focusing on, and that's the number 1. So just a little bit of a clip on the way to pit lane. Not too sure who's at fault there. A little bit of a tricky one, but oh well, we got race control. I think they can deal with it. Actually, we don't have race control. We got the oh, save me, Jai. We got the review afterwards. There we go. I worked it out. We got the review. Stay tuned. But Troy, jump in Discord. We get a chat, mate. Definitely. Andy Barber leads along trainer cars in pit lane. Caution number 7, Jai. I think you're correct. Lap 89 or 120.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a weird situation there, and I think the only reason Aiden would have been hitting pit road then would be a restart violation penalty, maybe that he was trying to serve there. So just wiring up for pit lane and Chopper maybe not hearing the call, or a call wasn't made that Aiden was going to pit lane, but he was in the heat of a battle with another Southern Stars truck as well. So definitely unlucky for Chop, and coming off his 3rd place in the league race last night as well for the new team as Kobe Jordan and Chop teaming up and merging teams with the Inside Lane Productions and LCR teams merging, and definitely a good result for them last night. So coming off that good result last night, and maybe not the result they wanted here tonight, but definitely looking strong is a new team as well.
Yeah, definitely. How good was it in the SRW trucks last night? I unfortunately had a couple of weird errors, and well, it seen me out. I think about halfway mark. But Aiden Schulz right now, he's showing in 18th position. He is in fact behind the pace truck. He'll get a wave around, won't he, Jai? He'll get a wave around as soon as I think we pass this green section as Wellman, I think, peels off to go down the lane.
Yeah, so because Aiden is in between the pace car and the leader of the race with Stevie W classed as the leader at the moment, all trucks in between the pace truck and the leader of the race will get a wave round with 1 to go. So they'll get way past the pace car and back onto the end of the longest line for the restart.
Bit of a struggle too to get it pulled up. You don't want to be what do we call it? Temping bowling. You don't want to be doing temping bowling straight into the rear of the field. Lap 91 or 120, 7th caution. Aiden Schulz still yet to be waved around, but we're around about 40% through. So once we cross the strike, we'll be 1 to go, I think, here, Jai, as Williams has been one of these dark horses, I think, a little bit caught up in some stuff earlier on, and well, up 25 positions, sees himself effective race leader with a little bit shy of 30 laps to go.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a timely caution for a lot of these drivers now as well, as we believe it's around 30 laps green flag running to be able to make it home. So we're pretty much right on the money there. So we'll have to see if a few drivers maybe double dip this time coming down pit road and using a bit of strategy and hoping for a run to the finish. So 30 laps on the same set of tyres seems to be a long way to go in this race, but the more caution laps they do, obviously the less they burn up their tyres as well. So might come down to a bit of a strategy call, but definitely can make it home from this point on.
And I think you'd have to bank on that it's going to that you can get home, and to be honest, that there probably is going to be another caution. So just based on that, I know you can't plan your race around the caution period, Job. We've learnt that, and I've asked the question time and time again. So you plan your races with no caution. I think you can get home without it for most of the drivers. I think, to be honest, we're going to see a race to the end from now. You're probably going to have the odd couple if we get a late caution, dive in, tyres to the end, and just chance their luck, I think. And we all know by now, oval racing, you need a whole heap of luck and a whole heap of skill. But right now, it's anyone's guess. And how good's the battles? How good's the big battles that we're seeing here tonight? Maxed out field, round 12, Skypoynt NASCAR Trucks E-Series here at Kansas. We got Troy in the chat to run down the last sort of incident. Pace truck peels off. Geico restart zone. Stevie Williams, he would have trigger to lead a lap 2 off the back of this. He goes around about 2/3 through, and Andy Barber goes with him. Wayne Priest, what a good run for him tonight as well. He goes with him. Spencer Trahere, Anderson, Tompkins, and we're green again. Joy, good restart. I've been really impressed with the restarts here tonight. And same again here as hold my breath just a little bit for this, probably around about the 5th position mark.
Yeah, definitely you can tell that like all the pit stop strategy, if we do run green, is all said and done. So a lot of these drivers, it's their time to make those positions as all the trucks are still in close proximity. But we see Andy Barber ranging up on the back of Stevie Dub for this lead of the races. We see Spencer using the high line to maybe get a run and maybe use that high line and get the runs off the corners. But also Luke Trahere looking to the low line as well. So about 3 distinctive lines as they go.
We've got to stop car. And we're going towards it again. We've got to stop car. That's hard to work it out, isn't it? Because you've got these cars, top 5, they're battling. Moves are going to make. It goes frozen. From the instant we go yellow. Wonder what happened there. Blackburn just stopped under the white. Sorry, Jai, got a bit excited.
No, that's right, Pete. It's all excitement at this point of the race as well, as we're 26 to go, so it's money time. But yeah, definitely a slower truck on that apron there as the leaders came around 3 and 4. So just checking out a Skypoint replay here at the moment as we see Blackburn on the apron. Looks like he's coming to pit road and he's just maybe locked the rears and kicked it a bit sideways, and that's what sprang out the caution. But there was definitely a slow truck. I believe it was a red truck on the apron of 3 and 4 as the leaders were coming around.
I did see that. I did see it. Definitely was a red truck. That didn't pick it up. Maxi Marshall possibly was one of them, but I think Maxi Marshall was one of the drivers that went into pit. So, well, we've seen that spin. That's pretty much what brought out the caution. Although, actually, let's click on it. Let's click on the yellow flag, and we'll go high in the air. Hopefully we get it. Hopefully we get it. Haven't mastered the oval, the way of using events to your advantage. Somewhere at the frontier, I do believe, focusing on Andy Barber, Stevie Williams. Red car down there, red car, and I'm not about to rewind it. So we'll go back live. That's one for the viewers, and well, 0 for me, and that's pretty much where I'm going to leave that one. So the one that got away, Jai, 25 laps to go. Steve Williams, Luke Tran, Andy Barber, top 3. They stay out for track position.
And did you see just then who was running around the high line there, the lucky dog? Michael Skurlock. So he's back on the lead lap of this race. So maybe it's not all said and done for Skirley, and that would be definitely looking good for his championship, managing to get back on this lead lap of this motor race.
Yeah, good spotting too, because this Jellybean car, I think I've been calling it. I have been saying we, but I don't want to throw you under. So I have been calling it Jellybean car, 350 machine. Good bloke too. We spoke to him a lot on the podium. Got the lucky dog. If anyone deserves it, it's Skirley. Start from rear of field though. But if there's anyone going to make their way through, especially with 25 laps to go here in Kansas, it's definitely Skurlock. So watch the Jellybean car move through, Jai.
Yeah, definitely a lot better to be on the lead lap than not, and anything can happen here at the Skypoint Truck E-Series, as we have seen in previous rounds in the past as well. So still got Troyby sitting in the green room waiting to have a chat, so we might bring him up and see how his race went tonight and see how he's enjoying the Skypoint Truck Series as well. A bit of an insight from a driver.
Yeah, Troy, mate, how you going? Obviously, we're talking to you on probably not the best terms. A little bit happening out there right now at Kansas. Not your night tonight, bud.
No. It's a bit of a fun race. I guess that's a bit of an understatement, but anyway, it is what it is.
What happened, mate? Talk us through. Why are we talking to you under these circumstances? Anything that you thought you could have done different, or just racing?
No, it's just racing. I was lap 16 there. I got well, there was a bit of a gap there, and somebody decided to tag me and put me in the wall and gave me a bit of damage. But I went back in and got all the repairs done. It was only 50 something seconds, and then I just come out of the pit lane just as the safety car was passing, and it told me, iRacing told me to pass the the safety car and catch up to the back, which I did. And when I got to the back, it told me that I had a minute and 38 second stop and hold for passing the safety car. So anyway, it is what it is. Put me
Fire
5 laps
racing,
down.
don't you love it?
Oh yeah. She's she's a funny one.
Yeah, well, you know, that's life. That's life, and we got Jai in here, newly teammates. So I'm sure Jai's got a few things to say, and I'll let you talk to Troy, and well, you can take it away for a little bit, mate. I'll sit back in and push buttons, and the teammates can take over for a lap or two.
Yeah, right.
Troy looking good in the back in the purple truck and running the renowned purple that you seem to love to run, and trucks look very good as well. So enjoying the Skypoynt truck series, and as we are looking to come back to the green flag with 23 to go, do you feel like calling the restart, Troy, or?
I think I might leave that to you, but there is a purple car at the front there, so and then we got Andy there behind, so yeah, we'll just see how Andy goes, and what looks like the safety car's coming in, safety truck.
Yeah, so we got Andy Barber starting out of the inside row of on the inside. Steve W takes the green flag in the Geico restart zone, off to a pretty good restart, and he's looking to go with him there on the inside row next to Luke Traher in the printed 43 truck. So he's looking to the outside. Greg Spencer dropping back into 5th place. Trent Gosley back up in 4th place. And Dwayne Pearce in 6th place as well, looking strong. So Andy and Luke Traher running side by side. Few trucks making their way back up through this field as we see Ruben Phelps steam training around the outside, making a couple of positions 2, 3 and 4 as he ranges up on the back of Greg Spencer. And he's still looking on the bottom row, using that apron to his advantage, using it quite well as it can get quite loose off there. But 2 by 2 in the front 4 as they go side by side through turn 1 and 2.
What about Luke Traher down the inside? What a run! Probably picks about 5 positions up, uses a little bit of the apron, takes the lead of the race with style. Stevie Dubs with him, Andy Barber, and these guys then pushing out the front. Good battle happening still in between. And I heard you mention Ruben Phelps, that run around the outside. What a run that was! I was going to jump in there, but what a run, 3 wide, just a little bit up ahead of them. So it's all pushing on now. 20 laps to go, Jai.
Yeah, that was a great run by Ruben around the outside, and that just goes to show the progressive banking. 20 degrees up top, right next to the wall, and using that to his advantage. So just see Greg Spencer using that low line and trying to make his way forward. It's a bit of a scrape down the right-hand side of his truck, but still looks like it hasn't really lost him too much speed as we see Andy Barber retake the lead and still using that apron to his advantage. So trying to get a bit of a gap on Trent Gosley on the truck, running in 2nd place. As we see a bit of an incident as we go caution once more, a few trucks going sideways at the entry to exit the pit road zone.
Andy Barber, he was leading, getting the gaps out there again. Tyson McElroy was involved in this one, high in the air. Let's have a look on the way to pit. Oh, look at this. Big nudge, 97.037. 037 keeps it off the wall. Keeps it straight, keeps it going. And, well, still doesn't matter. We go under yellow again, Troy. The feeling you get, it's pretty hard to take when you get a little bit of a bump, and your heart sinks, doesn't it? Andy Barber though, leading 18 laps to go, but well, for them last few people that were involved in that incident, we'll get another look at it. Troy, talk us through what would you be thinking at this moment? Jump on board with Tyson McElroy. Look at this, minding his own business.
Yeah, looks like he was just in his own little world there and thought he had a bit of a run and gets tagged, comes down maybe. I shouldn't say that. Don't want to say that. But anyway, he did a pretty good save. If that was me, I'd probably nose it straight into the wall and cook my car or cook my engine.
It's a beauty. Oh, look at that. He gets it going again. Loses quite a few positions. Don't forget, we'll be live probably around about 10 minutes after this race has concluded. 17 laps to go, and make sure you go like and follow the Skypoynt Facebook page, and pretty sure I'll put that in the description again, but go like and follow that, and directly after we'll be live to go run through the adjudication process, and a few of you guys will jump in and help work out what's going on. Every race needs to be had a look at, and yeah, tune in just after this, and well, we'll get that underway. Lights are on. Safety car, I think around about eighth caution, ninth caution of the night. Barber, Gosley, Treher, Spencer, Phelps. It's going to be a battle in between. Anyone in the top 8 can win this right now, just by what I've seen so far. Jai, what do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely yet to mix it up with the with this lead pack, but these drivers, definitely the sense of urgency has risen again late in this race, and with that safety car or the pace car and the caution period on lap or around lap 91 where they could make it home without a pit stop, it's really go time, and we're seeing that here, and they're not really afraid to go 2 and 3 wide as we've seen. So a lot of drivers are keen to push, and a lot of drivers actually exploring that high line and making that work as well. So a bit of apron on the front straightaway and a bit of high in the turns, and a lot of trucks are moving around and making their way forward in doing so.
And yet, just talking about making the way forward, number car, truck 350, he's sitting in 11th.
Yeah, I think that was the driver you mentioned, Lucky Dog. I think last caution around, Jai. Starts to move his way through, and he's getting the pass this car, pass that car sort of deal come up on his screen right now. So Skirley, he's up there in the championship as well, isn't he, Jai? So watch for, I've been calling it the Jellybean car for weeks now, so I'll keep calling it that. Makes his way through up into 11th, so look out for this car, 350 machine to move his way through, because if anyone can, Skirley can. I'm full of puns here tonight, Jai. Come on, save the viewers, take over.
No, he's definitely making his way forward back through this field, and yeah, the last caution receiving the Lucky Dog, getting him back on the lead lap, that was the first milestone on Skirley's list, and he's achieved that. That put him back to the end of the longest line, where this caution is going to put him right on the tail end of the lead lap cars as well. So only a way forward for Skirley now, and he's been a strong finisher. Him and Dave Douglas running P1 and 2 in the championship. So Skirley running P2, he'll be looking for a nice consistent result, but now on Skirley, he'll be right up there with 15 laps to go at the moment as they start to form up too wide to take the restart, with 14 laps to go to the end of this one. So will it be a 14 lap sprint to the finish, or will we see the 10th caution of the night?
Well, only time will tell. Andy Barber's done a good job. That 5 truck, Skypoynt written all over it, naming rights sponsor all over it. Remember, we opened up this series some 12 weeks ago with a Skypoynt 5-6, Tom Pritchard and Andy Barber 1-2 to open up this championship. So they've got pace, and they showed it right from the get-go. Unlucky for a few of them, for a couple of them rounds that have passed for the 5 and the 6. But, well, Andy Barber's showing he's got pace once again. He's in form. Kansas is the place to be. We go over the line with 14 to go. I hope that it's going to be a battle to the end. We're going to have, we got one green white checker too, I do believe, Jai. So the 4 truck and the 5 truck, they're going to lead us to green. And but see, we got Treher, Spencer, Phelps, Johnston, Bruns, Jones. No idea. Let's call it Geico Zone coming up. Andy Barber's got it yet again. He's gone halfway through, and with a good run as well. 43 went with him, and 4 and Spencer, and that just a little bit off pace. Phelps, they've gone with him as well. Top 5. 43 down the inside. 5 is starting to run away with it. 3 wide, 2 deep. A little bit further back. That's Tyson McAvoy, Stephen Williams. All these guys are involved in that. We've got a Southern Stars just driving out of the way there, getting out of the heat. 3 wide, we've seen briefly. 14 laps to go. Skurlock into 11th position now. That's one of the drivers. We're moving on a little bit. Squirrely back there a little bit. Jai, these guys are going to really start to push it. And have a look at this Spencer Phelps battle.
Yeah, as the caution comes out again, but we saw the, I think it was the 6th of Tom Pritchard in the Skypoynt truck. Maybe doing a bit of drifty boy into pit lane by the look of it as we check out a Skypoynt replay.
Wellman was caught up in this as well. And Tom, he's not in there. There we go. 6 is Tom. Check up. Oh, there we go. There's Wellman. Got caught off. Pirouettes onto the grass. Positive thing. We're under caution and there's no damage to his car, but unfortunate. Track position is, well, he's going to have to start off at the end of it.
Yeah, it just looked like a few trucks getting loose, but they'll go to the old tyres. But as we saw on that restart, Andy Barber shooting away from the pole position starting spot as well, using that apron again, which it's come to mind that he might be doing that as the apron is flat. So on the used tyres, being on a flat surface, I may have unlocked a nice little trick there to really keep the traction under that truck and really get fire off into the lead on the restart. So bit of heads up driving by Andy Barber, but Luke Traher looking like he's going to be starting on the outside pole for this restart. He'll be looking to go with him as well.
Let's have a look. 12 to go. We brought Andy just briefly into the broadcast booth. Leading, mate. You got the pace here tonight. How's everything playing, mate? Everyone's ready to go. Kansas, it's good to have the best, mate. You're looking good out here. What's the plan to finish?
Finish where I'm sitting right now would be nice, but yeah, no, certainly fast pace here tonight at Kansas. But yeah, no, so far so good. Just trying to keep it clean, race these guys hard and clean up the front. Got tangled up a little bit earlier with one of the Roffy guys, so yeah, I'm not too sure if that's on me or not, but we'll check that out after the review. But certainly don't want to see that, so certainly do apologise if that's on me. But yeah, no, just yeah, looking forward and not trying to look back, and yeah, try and get a top 3 or 4 here.
Well, there has been a few cautions here tonight, but well, it's been good racing is what we've seen so far. Andy, 11 to go. We won't keep you too much. Thanks for your time, even though you couldn't help it. The number 5, mate, put it on top. Hopefully we're talking to you later. Good luck.
No worries, guys. Have a great call.
Andy Barber leading right now. I didn't want to keep him too much. The lights are still on, so that means we're almost under 2 to go, and I think we still got you, Troy, in here. What's took us through at this point? If you're under yellow, 11 laps to go, what's sort of gone through your head?
Pretty much basically what Andy said. Look forward, don't look back, and sand it. Get a good start, and yeah, sand it basically.
Any drivers you think to favour to winning this thing?
Look, I'd probably put my money on Andy. But who we got up there? We got Greg and Luke. I still wouldn't rule out Ruben. He looks pretty quick when he gets on the middle to high line. And then I'm not too sure where Skirley is. My SDK is not working at the moment, so.
Skurlock's back there in the 350 machine, down 3 from where he started. He's just outside the top 10. He'll start alongside Stevie Williams though, so he's got good company there. They've raced around each other, so they're going to be battling for a top 10. And don't count them out for a top 5, top 3, even a win. You can do it in ovals. Well, you can, can't you, Jai? You can make when you think your race is over. There can be a little bit of a messy finish, or things go your way, and well, you can do a Kay Donnelly and finish in first place on your roof, possibly.
Yeah, anything can definitely happen in oval racing, but a lot of these trucks up the front have been looking strong all night long as well. So Troy just mentioned Ruben on the high line, and we were on board with Ruben as you kind of steam trained around the outside. So he will be starting on the inside lane, I believe, for this restart out of P5. So that's the 3rd truck back on the inside. So maybe look for him to kind of get himself in a position where he can creep up and get to that high line as quickly as possible and use that and really look to gain some distance and some positions around that high line. But definitely working well for Ruben. So starting on the inside, he's going to be looking for that high line as soon as possible, I believe, to make his way forward. But on this restart, there'll be 8 laps to go. So these drivers running out of time to make their way to the front, but definitely anything can happen in the ovals.
Let's stay on board with Ruben Phelps. We're around about halfway through. Remember, the lights are out. We will be green this time round. 9 laps to go. Will be 8 laps to go. Let's pray. Let's hope for a green finish. No more yellows. We do have a green, white checker if needed, though. We want to see these guys get to the end. Andy Barber up 14 positions. He'll lead us to green. He has let us go. He has given us the get-go sort of halfway through the Geico restart zone. Riding on board, 06, Ruben Phelps. When's Andy going to go? 9 to go, 8 to go. We're gone at the end of the Geico restart zone. Mixes it up a little bit. Good restart by Andy. Have a look at that, though. Spencer went with Phelps. Good restart. Now the elbows are out. Well and truly 3 wide.
Yeah, definitely looking 3 wide on this restart, but that actually trapped Ruben on that bottom line, so he can't get to the high line just yet. But again, Andy Barber using that apron and that flat surface to get a good launch with the 4-trucker Gosley getting away very well on that restart as Ruben looks to the inside, looking for third underneath there. See if he gets to the inside of Andy Barber as they come through the tri-oval. Who's going to use the apron? 2 inside cars do, so that's Gosley and Ruben. Ruben's staying there a little bit longer. He's got to that high line now into second place. Still blocking off the run from Traher, and he's going after Gosley now to the lead of this race as Andy goes back to P4 on the high line as he gets the run down. Spencer looking to the inside down as well.
They look to get the high line to work. That's where the tyres, that's where it's good for the tyres. Don't worry about the tyres. Let's get it going. The high line for something to work. Yellow, 7 laps to go. Gareth Anderson jumped the pit, so this must be a big one. Gareth Anderson will go high in the air. Skypoynt replay will just giving him a wrap there. Goes across, possibly. Oh, he's on his lid. He's on his lid. Skurlock involved in that. Oh no! Secondary accident. Synchronised swimming as well. I'm not too sure. Synchronised swimming. Drifting, I should say. Getting a bit overboard, Jai. Go back live. Couple of drivers involved in that, but yeah, the secondary one took out 2. Synchronised swimming, as Pete likes to say, instead of drifting.
I don't know who those 2 cars were that got taken out, but it was a bit unfortunate because yeah, he came back up on the track like a rocket.
Let's go back and have another look.
Definitely unlucky for those 2 drivers. I believe it may have been Chop just got tagged in the rear quarter again on the later part of that incident as well. So definitely a night gone from bad to worse as we focus on with Chop at the moment, and we see the truck come up. Oh, it just gets him, and then just gets into Sean Rigby as well. So definitely synchronised, and a few more pirouettes from Sean, as I reckon there was about 12 spins there and ends up straight. So unlucky for those 2 drivers, and a bit of an unavoidable situation as we saw that truck just coming back off the apron after being upside down. So obviously the brakes and the grip of the tyres don't work if they're not connected to the actual ground itself.
Well, we talk about oval racing, you need some element of luck, and well, that wasn't any of it. That was so unlucky, almost got through. You don't even think of that. You're driving, you're like, sweet, I'm through, bang, gone. Kylie rocks 10 points for synchronised spins, so it is spins, not swimming.
That's a bit disheartening actually, because that's our teammate Jai. So he was the lone truck in this race now, and I'm guessing that could be the end of his night as well. He was a couple of laps down, I do believe, though.
Yeah, definitely a bit of damage caused to the back end of that truck as it hit the wall, as the same with Chris Tomlin. But Andy Barber now starting out at P4, which is going to be the outside row. So he's done the last few restarts down on that apron on the flat surface, but he'll be on the banking in the tri-oval on this restart. So he's just going to have to watch this wheel spin. But Ruben Phelps currently sitting in P2 as well. He's on the high line already, so he doesn't actually have to work his way up there. He's already there, so he'll be looking to get a good restart on the high line, starting next to Trent Gosley, who's currently leading this race. So we'll see if Andy Barber can give Phelpsy the push to really roll around the outside, and see if Luke Traher can really go with Gosley and maybe push Gosley out to the lead of this race. As when we go green, we will only have a couple of laps to go.
And once we go green, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jai, any yellow will lead to a GWC, green-white checker, which means any next flag wins. So hopefully we keep it green. Ruben Phelps, good night for him. Up 34 positions. Definitely the hardest charger tonight. And well, the 06 Ruben Phelps, we know he can steer one of these trucks especially. Jai, so don't discount him. Andy Barber, look at him. He's showing his intent right now. We'll sit and watch, and then bang, he'll get you. Let's have a look. Hopefully we can have a one of them .0001 finishes like we've seen in the Lady Palooza. Jai, that would be good to watch. But I tell you, with the competitiveness of the guys up the front, Gosley, Phelps, Trahere, Barber, Spencer, Bruns, they're all competitive. Williams back there in 8th, and still don't discount Skurlock back there in 14th. Anything can happen here on ovals.
Yeah, definitely a lot of drivers still in contention, but what was really important then was the pace truck's lights went out with 3 to go. So that means we'll restart with 2 to go, which means the green-white checker is still in play. It hasn't used it up for this restart, so we've still got that up our sleeve if we need it, but it's going to be a 2-lap dash to the finish unless another caution happens, and then that green-white checker will be in effect.
Are you game enough to put any money on who's going to win this thing? Because, well, Kansas, round 12 of the championship, has really turned it off. One of the, to be honest, closeness of racing, one of the best rounds this season for mine.
Yeah, it's definitely created a lot of good racing, but if I was to put money on anyone, if this goes green from here to the end, would have to be Ruben Phelps. If Gosley can get a good jump, he's going to have to really block Ruben's run on the outside, I think. But if you go green and white checker, all that changes and it's anyone's game once more.
Well, the pace truck peels off. Maybe not for the last time. Geico restart zone. We're gone again. We're gone again. I think that was around about 2/3 through. He seemed to check up the field off this restart. He does block Ruben Phelps. Good to note, Joy, you just said he must have to block that outside run. He has blocked it. But Ruben still might be there to take it. Trent Gosley, Trahere, Phelps, Spencer, Barber. That's who we're looking at the moment. Can be anyone's guess. 4. And 06 down there. We're going to go 3 wide, possibly. Spencer wants a run.
Yeah, Ruben just dropped to the inside there under Luke Trahere as well, so he'll be looking to move forward, use the draft from Gosley up the front. As Gosley's still leading with 1 to go, the white flag has come out, so the next flag will end the race. But it's anyone's position as we see further back in the pack. I think that's Tyson McAvoy looking on the inside. As they're going 3 wide, Stevie Dub gets really close to the 900 truck. But Gosley still in the lead. Ruben in 2nd, Luke Trahere 3rd, Spencer 4th, Barber 5th. Running to the flag around 3 and 4 for the final time. Ruben looking to the low line. We'll see if Trahere can get a run. Will Ruben use the apron as we're coming to the start-finish line? Ruben looks low. They're going to go 2 wide. Gosley will hold on to the lead by not too much time at all, but Gosley gets the win here at Kansas.
What a finish that was. Trent Gosley took P1, Ruben Phelps, Luke Trahere, that's your podium. Spencer Barber just misses out, up 10 positions, still good run for him. Jones McAvoy with a run for him, up 21 positions. We just briefly got off the leader. He was going down the inside. Stevie Dunn up 18 positions as well. Big movers here tonight, boys, but Trent Gosley takes the W.
Yeah, it was an awesome run to the finish then. Lots of lines, lots of movement, but clean all the way to the checkered flag there as well. So awesome racing by the boys here at Kansas, and what great racing it was as Trent Gosley, I believe, picks up his first win of the season. So he'll be looking to come up to this checkered line and really burn it up and start frying these tyres as he just noses it up to the wall and does the big burnout up against the wall.
Trent Gosley 04, number 4 he's got on his truck. Burns up the rubber here at Kansas Speedway. Round 12 with the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series come to an end. Gosley, Phelps, Trahere would have battled towards the end through what was a caution-filled night. We had 9 cautions. Gosley, though, well, you got to be there at the end, and when Barney waves a flag, that's when you say you win or you lose. This time, Gosley on the leading end of it, and another new winner here for this series too, Jai, as you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely his first win of the season and another new winner, Skypoynt Trucks, and what a great series it's been. It's been awesome to see like so many winners and so many new faces marching their way up through the field as well. So definitely some good racing and 2-3 wide action here tonight. It definitely turned it up a notch here at the Skypoynt Trucks here tonight at Kansas, and what a great race it was. A few cautions, but a few long green flag laps as well. And
that's what was impressive as well. I think if any round has given you anything or everything rather, well then I think this one has. It's given you pretty much every aspect of NASCAR truck action, hasn't it, Jai? Because well, we've had crashes. We didn't see a big one as you would see at Talladega, but well, we're at a 1.5 mile, not a super speedway. But yeah, definitely tonight was a good show of NASCAR racing, as pretty much it is. The highs, the lows, the accidents, the battles. But I think the battle, the group, for mine, I think, Jai, was probably that battle between, well, you'd have to say from P5 to P15, because it pretty much stole the show throughout, and those 10 trucks were, I think, for the majority, they were the ones going 3, and I think we touched 4, and I think maybe even once or twice we touched 5 as people went below the apron, but there was big groups of cars when we had battles.
Yeah, definitely early on we had I think it was P3 all the way to P16 under a blanket and really racing hard and clean as well. So even racing with that amount of trucks in a group, they managed to really pull back those 2 lead trucks. So it kind of skipped away a bit earlier in that stint. But yeah, that midpoint in the race where that pace car caution period did come out and it kind of split up the field a little bit, it didn't take away from the racing, and it really bring a bit more strategy back into the race. So it was kind of had everything here at Kansas.
And it did, and I was looking forward to it leading in, and well, glad we done it actually, to be honest, because what a race it was, and had everything. I'll stand by that one. Probably one of my favourites rounds as we move into race results. Trent Gosley, obviously, we'll talk to him in a second. They're all there waiting patiently in the podium green room, but Gosley, Phelps, Trahair, they're standing by with a finish 700s between Gosley and Phelps. It definitely did come down to the wire. Spencer and Barber, both got top 5. Barber led a lot of the way. Didn't have the tyres to get to the end. That's what his better half was saying, Kaiser. And Jones just misses out on a top 5. McAvoy, good run. He'll finish in 7th, just in front of Stevie Williams. He had a couple of incidents earlier on, but he still bags the top 10. Dwayne Priest, what a race for him. Not a name that I've seen in this league very often, mate, but he had a good start. He'll bag a top 10 to what was, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, may have been his first appearance here. Tompkins, Johnson, Smith, Vassell, and Darren McKenzie put it on pole. Started in P15, a little bit further back from him. A couple of little incidents for him as well. Aidan Schulz, Michael Skurlock were there, 16th, 17th position. Maxie Marshall in 18th as these results keep going around and around. Jai, couple of the names that were up in front, well, the battles just maybe kept going, and strategies, and with a caution-filled night, just got away from him a little bit. Luke Crum finishing down 55 laps, unfortunately, for Kobe Jordan. Also, a couple of the Roffies with DNFs, or definitely down quite a few laps. But Chris Tomlin, late incident, he finishes down 16 laps. Jai, so a lot of guys to celebrate here tonight, and a lot of guys that are left thinking, what if?
Yeah, definitely a night here at Kansas has mixed up the standings a bit, as we see on screen at the moment. In 27th position, Dave Douglas currently leading the championship. So definitely a bad night for some and a really good night for others. So Dwayne Priest getting the top 10. I believe it's the newest recruit from the Sim Boys. He's been in the team, I believe, for a little bit now. But yeah, definitely no stranger to the Oval League, and definitely making his way up. Solid top 10 result at the moment. But yeah, good race by all. Few cautions, but a lot of green flag racing, and when we were green flag racing, going 2-3 wide, just goes to show that progressive banking really creating that type of racing and that excitement in the race as well.
Yeah, it was good battles, and when the battles were on, it was 2, 3, 4 wide. We're going to jump in the podium room and get the podium chats underway, Troy. Definitely you can jump in and join us if you want, but we're going to jump in. First to talk to is Luke Trahair with the P3 here, round 12 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Trucks E-Series. We've got the podium here waiting patiently because we tend to drag ass and talk a little bit of shit, I might say, at the end of a race. What a good race it was. Luke, I tell you, P3, it wasn't easy out there, but congratulations on your P3.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was a good race sort of early, and a few sort of yellows just sort of kept it probably a little bit less interesting towards the end because a few guys on some different strategies sort of got a bit snookered by what they were trying to do late. I know Stevie Williams was trying to hold on to those tyres until the last minute and then pull the trigger on them. And unfortunately for guys like that, because of the multiple yellows, they just kept getting stalled because they couldn't make use of those tyres. And the guys in the old ones could just keep getting let off with the numerous yellow flags. But it sort of happens. Congrats to the guys up front, Ruby and Trent. It was good fun.
It was a good battle to watch, and when we did go green, we noticed that the battles when they appeared, when they happened, that there was big groups going 2-3, and I think we touched on 4 wide. I think you were involved in a couple of them sort of moments. Were you worried when you sort of were hitting 3 wide early on in the race?
Not really. Like, you can sort of spot a couple of gaps. I mean, you're sort of putting your race in the hands of the other guys around you. But I mean, look, I was sort of going off what last week was like, because last week was sort of pretty respectful for the most part, and the incidents weren't sort of as frequent early. Especially when you're sort of coming to get new tyres and you're sort of running a few 4 wides through guys that are on old tyres and can sort of try and get through there a little bit quicker. But it was sort of only 1 or 2 times that I was sort of back there and able to cut through. I think everyone handled it pretty well. Yeah, sort of up to those last few laps.
Kansas leading into this one, were you a fan? Were you looking forward to this round of the championship?
No.
No.
Like I've had a win here in Kansas in the trucks, like in NASCAR and stuff like that, when I sort of first started out. So I must like it in the trucks, but my last memory of being here is in the Cup car, and for whatever reason, just the Cup car, can't drive it here, like woeful. But the truck here is it's pretty sort of simple to drive. So once it sort of got into the race and it started to sort of settle in, I started to enjoy it a little bit more. You sort of feel like you can run it pretty hard and not sort of lose your tyres too crazy. So I was feeling a bit happier once it sort of started than what I was beforehand.
And I think what me and Jai were talking about before we went live, that around about a 30 lap stint was pretty much good for your tyres, pretty much good for your fuel. If obviously in a perfect world, hindsight's everything really, but if in a perfect world, green race 30 30 30 30, do you think that would have been the strategy, or do you think leading into this you were always sort of planning around a yellow at some point?
I'll be very honest, I came in with absolutely zero strategy. I couldn't even work it out towards the end what was sort of going on. Like, I wasn't paying enough attention to the fuel. It wasn't until sort of probably like 35 laps left, and I was sort of like, oh god, like, can we run the tyres off here? What's the go of the fuel? Like, we're all sort of talking, trying to work it out. I had no idea, man. Like, I'll be honest, I was just sort of coming in and trying to help my teammates out and get them some good points and that sort of thing, and sort of shadow them through the field. Unfortunately, they didn't have some good fortune through this with Dave and Skirley, but it worked out well for me towards the end because sort of those older tyres, even though they weren't sort of too bad, just sort of kept getting let off the hook with all those yellow flags. So let's call that a strategy if we want. But yeah, it certainly was certainly wasn't masterminded, that's for sure.
No, I think when you got a yellow field, sort of race, you can sort of, bank even. I noticed a couple of drivers stayed out in a couple of them cautions because you sort of have a look and be like, look, we got 50 laps to go. We're going to get a yellow. I know I need a pit again, but I'd rather do it on a yellow. I want to get the lap back, or want to, you make your race strategy up on the fly, and that's the beauty about ovals. And that's I'm actually starting to really like ovals. Probably borderline with road at the moment, but we got Jai in here as well. We got Troy. You can chime in as well, Jai. But definitely Luke deserved P3, and surprising. No, not much prep coming into this one.
Yeah, just firstly, congratulations on your P3, and you've touched on tyres a couple of times here in the broadcast booth. Just noticed on a couple of those late restarts when Andy Barber was leading, I believe you were behind him on one of the restarts using that apron on the restart. Was that kind of a really good help to save those tyres and kind of limit the wheel spin being on the flatter surface rather than the banking of the track?
On the restarts, to be honest, I was more just sort of following what Andy was doing because I noticed he was coming down and getting down on the apron on his restarts, which I sort of picked up on those sort of last couple that we had. So I was really just sort of following him. It wasn't really anything to do with my sort of tyre strategy, to be honest. I would have gone where he went. I mean, as far as saving the tyres, that's probably the one thing I do pretty reasonably well. I'm not super quick in a sort of sprint. It's usually to my disadvantage. To be honest, I don't even know where the good line is here for the tyres. It sort of felt pretty alright everywhere. The quicker line was sort of up high, but we just didn't really get, enough of a green run to sort of even see where the tyre wear was, as far as massive degradation goes. There was never even really a point where they sort of really started coming off that bad and the car started getting skatey. But just back to that, it was purely just sort of following Andy where he was going, mate.
Andy looked strong as well. Did you think at any point that he would take the P1?
No. I think, to be honest, and the only reason I sort of thought that was because I thought I was going to. Not that I care. I honestly really don't mind it. If Andy got the win, it's awesome to Andy. But the only reason I thought he sort of wouldn't is because he was sort of. I was getting the impression that whoever would be at me or the guys that were behind me or just in front of me might have been able to run him on the outside because he was sort of running that sort of lower line and the pace is sort of more up the top. So I thought someone would sort of nab him there. But yeah, he had great pace. He was super clean and ran a good race. And from what I know, Andy's Andy's one of the quicker, cleaner guys sort of around here. So for all intents and purposes, he definitely could have had a win.
Yeah, definitely. He was banking for it. We spoke to him throughout the broadcast. Luke Traher, though, once again, congratulations on your P3. We've got to get a move on. We've got two other drivers to talk to, but definitely round 12 with the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series at Kansas, one of my favourites for the rounds, and congratulations to you and your team for P3, and any shout-outs, mate? The floor's yours. Go for it.
Yeah, shout out to you guys, LAS Esports for doing the broadcast, and obviously Skypoynt for the good league. I said it last week on the podium that seems like a really cool truck league. I've only done it a couple of times, but good turnout. Good respect for a bunch of guys that turn up and race with everybody. So it'd be nice to sort of continue it. I won't be in the country for the next 6 weeks, so I probably won't obviously get to do anything there while I'm gone. But it'd be nice to come back to. Congrats to Trent on the win. It's a good win, man. Really good run. Well done, Ruben, for getting that good jump towards the end there and getting that P2. Shout out to my boys, the old bandits, Diddy's, Carson Couch, Skirley, and Mirko. Got to get Mirko in a race here at some point. Let's get his truck out here. I think that'll pretty much do it. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks to the rest of the field for a good race for at least the first half.
Congratulations, mate, on your P3, and we'll see you next week, hopefully.
No, I'm gone for 6 weeks, so
you did say that. Yeah, peanut brain, they call me, and that's for a reason. But congratulations. Have a good holiday, mate.
Thanks.
Don't lose your passport.
For the love of God, I won't know.
Righto, mate. Congratulations on that. Reuben Phelps, mate, what a run. You seem to get the high line working. Big runs along that high line. Sees you P2. Bit of luck, up 34. And you got the Hard Charger award as well. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, actually came into this race with absolutely no prep, and I had no audio, so I couldn't talk or listen to anything tonight. So I was all literally on the fly. I was making all my decisions, and I hadn't even practiced on the setup I had got. So pretty stoked to even get up here.
Well, you've shocked me. So you're telling me you just done 83 laps or whatever this was here tonight, 120 laps with no car volume?
No, I had car volume, but I didn't have, I couldn't hear anybody speak, so it's all on the microphone there, so no mic, couldn't hear anybody either, so I couldn't hear what's going on around, people talking to me or whatever, so, but even the strategy, I couldn't ask questions or anything like that, so I was pretty much on the, had to make up decisions on my own.
Yeah, well, running solo on all your strategy, well, it worked, didn't it? You got a P2 up 34, so Hard Charger as well. Talk us through the strategy. It was a stop-start, plenty of cautions to keep everyone in it. Once you're probably halfway point, talk us through your sort of, the way you took the race from around about the halfway point and to bring you home.
Yeah, I thought this race might have been a little bit cleaner, but I mean, I suppose it is what it is, and if we've got quite a few names I've not really raced against, so they're obviously new to the oval stuff, so you sort of got to start somewhere. But yeah, I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really have a strategy or anything throughout the race, but I missed a few of those wrecks. I pretty much had to watch all of them in front of my windshield, so there was a couple of strange moments at the back, but once I got through it and got into that sort of top 10, I had about maybe, I don't know, 8 laps better tyres than some of those guys. So I went for it and got to the front in those, I think it was when they had that bit of a green flag right at the start. And then I did the pit stop, overshot the pit box, and then a caution comes out, which I think Aiden must have been in the pits as well, and we both got stuck a lap down. So thankfully we both managed to sort of drive up there, and another yellow came out to save us. But then the caution fest came about, and it was all about missing them. And then of course it was all the tyre strategy as well, that I actually made a mistake with putting the tyres on with 30 laps to go, but it actually turned out to be a good idea, because with all the amount of cautions we had, it was hardly any wear on those tyres, so I managed to keep the track position, which helped. But managed to get to the end, and when I restarted second, I sort of know that I'm not really too good on when it comes to a restart of watching the leaders, so I always had a might have had a good run for the lead there. But still, from 36 to second, definitely can be happy with that one.
Well, 100%. You'll take that away anytime. 34 positions. The 06 entry come up today. We're just watching a little bit of moves made. This was a pit entry at the moment. Not too sure if there's one you reference, but we got Jai in here, mate. 06. He done extremely well today to get on P2. I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to get some questions fired off.
Yeah, awesome run, especially not knowing what the setup had kind of thing in it coming into the race, but definitely a lot of kind of steam train moments, I call them, running around the outside and making up a lot of time and a lot of positions on the outside, coming to that last and final restart, starting on the outside P1. Was that kind of where you were comfortable in restarting, already being up on the high line, or were you more so wanting to be on the bottom for that final restart?
I probably would have been better off restarting third, just so you can actually sort of see the leader properly and judge that, and then sort of cover off what happens in the outside lane. But when it comes to like the lane to choose from when to get in the run, yeah, you sort of want to come up high off turn 2, or obviously turn 2 and 4, and then have a slingshot. But I think Trent had a really good sort of a good line into the entry of turn 1, and by then I was in a battle with Luke, so I sort of obviously lost a bit of momentum anyway. But because of where Trent placed the car, it sort of only had, as soon as I get the draft at the last minute, and then as soon as you're stuck on the bottom, or he leaves it on the bottom, you sort of have no real opportunity to sort of get any sort of side-by-side action unless you get a really fast exit. But by then, I thought, I'll just go on the apron and see if he moves up or has a slide or misses a shift or whatever happens. How things happen randomly. And try and make it as best of a photo finish you can make it. But then we obviously sort of did that, but it was could have been a lot closer.
It was a good race, mate. P2 up 34 positions. So, well, how good was it? Ruben Phelps, 06, mate. Well, the race, there was plenty in it. Plenty of battles, big battles, and that was pretty good here tonight. A few cautions, but, well, P2, kept your nose clean. Congratulations. Anyone you'd like to shout out to, mate?
But I've got to shout out my team, Momentum Sim Racing. I think Tristan was in there, but he got caught out some drama early, and of course I couldn't say anything to him, so they had audio issues. But got to thank you guys for the broadcast, and of course Skypoynt for hosting the league. I mean, it's always a bit of fun just to throw yourself out there and go through a like a little bit a less average race just to enjoy some of the moments. But maybe there was a few, like I said, there was a few too many cautions. But at the same time, it was still a lot of fun. So I can't go wrong. But it was a good race.
It was definitely a good race, mate. So yeah, shout out to everyone that gets you here, Ruben. We'll see you next week, mate. Congratulations to your for your P2.
Yeah, it was my third race in, and I think I've had a fifth, a sixth, and a second. So yeah, now just got to try and get first.
Try and get the W, mate. Good luck and dig deep. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, cheers.
Ruben Phelps, 06 entry, P2. We move along to P number 1, Trent Gosley. Good race, mate. You got there at the end. Tough, but it was a goodie.
Yeah, finally. I finally finished one of these off without making any stupid errors.
I believe it's your first win of the series, mate. Congratulations. Talk us through the series, if it is. Talk us through the series. What sort of luck have you had, and what do you think you've done differently this one than others?
Probably just did everything with purpose, I guess. I've been it's been a good series, like it's good battles, and I just think I've been tentative and just made silly errors, whether it's in the pits or on track, and just really cost myself chances at winning races. And tonight I just made sure I didn't stuff up. Basically, I was just committed.
Well, you got the monkey off the back. You got your first W for the series. Let it hope it's not going to be going to be the last time we get a chat with you sitting on the top step. But talk us through, mate. Bit of stop-start action. 9 cautions, I do believe. Tyre wear, I think, at the start might have been worse than, towards the end when we had that caution fest. I think Ruben called it. But talk us through your race. Do you think you'd be here at the end, at the when you were doing the formation lap at the start?
Yeah, I felt good. I mean, my first stint, I think I ran my tyres for nearly 60 laps or 50 laps or something to save sets for the end there. So it kind of played into my hands, and then I took my last set with less than 30 to go or something like that, and the cautions just went well, and I just had speed. I kind of felt like if I didn't screw up, I would be up the front. So yeah, I'm glad it worked out that way.
You had a good run out the front with Andy Barber. He was out there for a little bit. Talk us through those battles. Was it as fun as what we seen it?
Yeah, it's just a matter of being patient, really. Like, he's a good, clean driver, and so were a few of the other guys up the front. So it was just, I knew I had the speed. It was just a matter of being patient and then actually making moves, and I had to when I knew they were on. But then, yeah, obviously being patient and making a move when it was open.
Well, mate, you definitely done that here tonight. P1, you got up 2 positions as well, so that's a real consistent race for you. 3rd in quali, and P1 in the race. Jai, mate, Trent Gosley, P1. I'm sure you got something you'd like to add.
Yeah, awesome race, awesome win, first one of the series as well. So congratulations on that, and just led the race a bit early on, and kind of dropped back a little bit, made your way back up to the front. Coming to that final restart, what was really going through your mind coming to a 2-lap sprint?
The restart before, I was just thank God I was on the bottom in 3rd, because I'm terrible at them restarts from 2nd. But that last one, I was just stayed on the track, and as soon as I got to the restart zone, I was going for it, and then I held the bottom, and I knew I could be wide open on the bottom, and if anyone could drive around the outside of me faster than that, then they were better than me. But thankfully it worked out.
Well, it worked out for you, mate. P1 up to the number 4 truck being victorious here tonight. Trent Gosley, yeah, 100% first and hopefully not your last victory in this series. Round number 12 with the Skypoynt Trucks E-Series here at Kansas. Trent Gosley, your race winner. We got him right here. Anyone you'd like to shout out to, mate, and your sponsors? And yeah, floor's yours. Good win. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, firstly, I just like to thank my team, MFR Racing, and Dan and Cole for being there tonight. And they got I think one got a top 10, Cole got a top 10, and Dan wasn't far off it, which is good results for the team. Other Dan, he painted the car. All 3 cars look awesome. My sponsors, WP Concreting, Baker Diversified Contractors, and Dare Mobile Car Detailing. And yeah, just thank you guys for streaming this series, and Skypoynt for putting this awesome series on. Thank you.
It's definitely an awesome series. Round 12, run and done. Trent Gosley, congratulations again for P1. Ruben Phelps for P2. And Hard Charger up 34 positions. Luke Trahere, he finished up 1 from where he qualified in P3. Well, Jai, what a race that was. Round 12 at Kansas. One of my favourites. I think it had everything.
Yeah, it was definitely a good race to call and definitely a good race to see unfold in front of us. So awesome racing at Kansas and created some really intense racing and 2-3 wide for majority of the race, and battle packs of 15 plus trucks was pretty cool to see as well. So on to Nashville next week for round 13, and we'll see these guys do it all again on the Tuesday night.
Nashville is going to be great next Tuesday. Don't miss it. And don't forget Thursday. We'll be recording for V8 Vets. We'll play that on Friday, possibly Saturday. DSL Welding Services V8 Supercars up next on the LRE Sports Network on Friday. You're racing that, Jai. Look forward to calling that one, and look forward to seeing calling Nashville with you next Tuesday. Well, the race is done. The race is won by 04 Trent Gosley, Ruben Phelps, and Luke Trahere. We heard from all them 3 drivers. What a race it was. Kansas had everything. Catch us all Nashville next Tuesday. Cheers.